us. And that is just totally wrong.
There's a lot of attorneys out there who don't do it right.
Very
But Karl
much,
Truman does it right. 502-276-2118. You have a workers' comp question, Social Security, disability. Maybe you've been involved in an accident. You slipped. Maybe a car accident. Karl is here for you. I do want to ask you something. I read the other day online about the Kentucky House passed that law, and I believe Governor Beshear signed it. I don't know when it starts, about those under 18 years old. They can't use their cell phone and they can't text. Have you been keeping up with this?
Well, it's an ongoing issue, and some states have passed similar laws, and some states even don't require a headset or speakerphone or a hands-free device. So it's a mixed debate. A lot of people are debating of that. You know, it's amazing looking at people when I do a lot of jogging and I'm running along the street and I see cars coming by. I actually saw someone driving by me. They had both hands on their cell phone.
Oh.
I don't know how they were.
Knees.
I guess they were steering with their knee, but they actually she was driving her car and had her phone like this. And I thought, gosh, let me get out of this person's way.
Well, that's Craig. You said it's people under 18.
I believe the law. I don't know when it takes effect.
I don't know.
I read it online at the CJ site where it was passed by the House, and I'm all but think Governor Beshear signed it, but we'll investigate it more.
Yeah, if they do that, there shouldn't be an age. I mean,
no, it was under 18 for the teens. There was a lot of teens
that doesn't make
using
sense.
it. Well,
adults shouldn't text.
Well, I know, but they've got to start somewhere. So.
We need to place it on everybody.
I want to ask you about hospital infections coming up, but we're taking your calls, 502-276-2118, and you can email us anytime for a question about Karl. We get various ones live at WBKI.TV, but we have one from Donna in Louisville. It affects the volcanic ash situation in Europe, and this affects a lot of people. I have a friend affected by the ash in Europe. He cannot get back home, and it is costing him money. Is there anything he can do to recoup hotel food and other bills? This is from Donna, and I'm sure you probably know people stranded or people who know people stranded over there.
Well, and it happens all the time, and it's even happened to all of us during the winter storms last year, so it's a similar type thing. Unfortunately, really no. I mean, if it's an act of God or a weather condition, I think the airlines try to make accommodations, but they're not responsible to pay for your hotel if they can't fly because of volcanic ash or whatever. I did see and this is not an area that I deal in, but I just saw on the news this morning where the ambassador, the embassy in England, they were on the news this morning saying that they have loan programs where if you're stranded and you're out of money, then they'll try to help you out. So that's another resource to look at.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, because a lot of people, I mean, that's a horrible situation to be in. Some of these people stranded with babies, running out of resources. And like you said, just didn't carry enough money on you for an extra 3 or 4 days out of the country. Yeah,
it's really bad, whether it's weather or the hurricanes and
you can't sue the volcano.
Earthquakes and that type of thing. Yeah,
that's why you should have travel insurance. So think about that from time to time. 502-276-2118. Have a caller to Louisville Live this morning from Shelbyville, Kentucky. Good morning. What's your question?
You want my question?
Yes. Good morning. Or comment.
I've got a letter from Social Security that says I'm disabled. Yet when I go to Social Security, they deny me.
Okay, so you have Social Security, disability.
Right. And when I go there to apply for it, or when I went there with my little letter, they denied me.
Okay, Karl, you may seek more information.
Well, obviously I need to see what letter you're talking about, because once you have to make, for Social Security, make the determination on if you're disabled, you have to first apply, and then Social Security will make a determination. So I'm not clear on how you could have a letter from Social Security saying you're disabled if you have not yet applied. So you have to apply, and then either they approve you or if they turn you down. And if they turn you down, then you have to appeal it. And there's a 3-step process to get before a judge if they keep denying you, and then a judge may be the ultimate decision maker on that.
And I suggest you go to the Truman Law Office website. Our caller from Shelbyville, email him. It's confidential, and he'll respond, or his staff will respond. But we have more phone calls.
Yes, we are taking your phone calls, 276-2118, and we have Joey in Greensburg, I believe. Hi, Joey.
Hello.
Good morning.
Hi, Joey. Go ahead with your question for Karl.
Just have a comment on the Truman Law as far as the texting.
Yes.
Yes, I think it's an outstanding idea because, as we know, most accidents are caused by distracted drivers. That's just one other way of being distracted. So I think, and two, as far as the teenagers, I agree with the lady there. I think it should be on all drivers.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. I think one reason
they
do teenagers is they have that graduated licensing program.
Right.
There's more restrictions on teens for driving because they're new. They're just new. Someone who drives 20 years
ultimately,
is
it's it's kind of like you pass the law and teenagers can't do it, and then there's an accident and someone gets killed when a 30-year-old, it's just, if they're going to do it, they need to, everybody's distracted. A teen is no more distracted by texting and driving than an adult is.
Well, I appreciate the comments from the caller because that's very true, and the more people become aware of it, the more perhaps, the citizens can get the legislature.
Sure.
And I think you're both right. I mean, it should apply to everyone, but as Craig pointed out, I mean, you got to start somewhere. So if you start with the younger drivers, they're the most vulnerable.
Well, I remember years ago when I was working over at Wave TV, I covered this wreck, and it was a woman driving down 71, and she was reaching over in the back of her car, a child back there, inattention. There was some inattention. It wasn't a cell phone. I mean, I don't know if it was a cell phone, but she was distracted for a second. She wrecked, killed her, and killed her daughter. And it can happen in seconds, and people don't think about that.
It happens in seconds. And,
right.
Yeah, that's
true.
true.
And people get, the thing is, I think we spend so much time in our cars now that people just, they learn to do everything in their car. They kind of live in their car. I saw a lady was eating and reaching for her food and almost hit me because she was eating. So. We are still taking your phone calls. We've got another caller, Carrie in Shelbyville. Hi, Carrie.
Hi, how are you?
Good,
Good morning.
Thank you. Go ahead with your question.
I was in an accident this morning around 3 o'clock, and this happened. I was coming down the street, and she was turning over, and she turned out right as I was coming full speed, and she didn't have her blinkers or anything on. And this happened over on Bardstown Road.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and she tried to lie to the policeman and tried to change the story up. And I don't know if she's trying not to, pay all my damage. So, I mean, because it was clearly her fault. So, I mean, what do you think, Julie?
Oh, gosh. Well, this guy's the expert.
We'll defer to Carl, but we appreciate your call.
I can't give any legal advice. I'd be in trouble.
Well, of course, I'd have to know more about the facts of the cases, but it sounds like you were both in the lane that they were merging over into her lane. And unfortunately, you can't stop people from lying to the police, and it's really unfortunate. I just recently met with a gentleman who was in a wreck on the interstate, who basically a car was coming into his lane, and he was trying to move out of their way, and he hit the other car hit him, and the other driver told the police officer, no, he came into my lane, and of course, and then the gentleman I talked to said the other car came in his lane. And so it's basically his word, one word against the other, and he asked me, well, can't you piece it together and look at the evidence and the skid marks and the property damage and piece, and what I explained to him is that yes, I can, but not every case, because that would I can hire an accident reconstructionist who can piece it all together. But that's very, very expensive, and I do that on very serious cases. But if it's a fairly minor injury, the cost of doing that, I just can't. You just couldn't justify the cost of spending thousands of dollars.
Well, I say you put a camera in your car. If you don't know how to use a cell phone, get one of those $15 disposables, toss it in the car with a flash, take pictures.
Look for witnesses.
Look for witnesses. Look for store video cameras. Anything. But Carl, good having you with us.
Great.
Thank you, Carl.
Love the time.